Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're working on this double wide bracelet that I came up with this pattern. The single wide we already made that, and then I thought it would be more interesting to just double it. There's 8 colors. That means 16 going to the loop or 32 strings coming down. This was a monumental task to achieve. It took me over 4 hours of knotting, and that's not doing it like back-to-back hours. I actually took breaks in various places because this was such an overwhelming bracelet overall. But that said, it turned out really, really cool. Now you'll notice we started somewhere kind of close to the middle as far as the video goes because, again, 4 hours. If we sped up the entire thing, we would still be looking at, like, I think my fastest I can speed it up is 10 times. So that would make it like, what, 40 minutes of video, which I thought was kind of crazy. So we kind of started midstream. I wanted you to be able to see how the segmenting on this thing went because that's kind of cool. There's this sort of work everything you can to the right, and then when that runs out, then you start doing everything going to the left. And yeah, it flows really, really well. Like there's something about these kind of patterns that just makes the flow work really, really good. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. I didn't have a pattern for this in the beginning. It wasn't like I saw a pattern and was like, oh, I'm going to try to mimic it or change it up or anything else. This was just an idea that if an arrowhead came to its point and then continued, to make 3 of the diamonds instead of just 1, how would that look? And this is the direct result of that, which is sort of fun. And mind you, like, kind of going into this, like the single version of this being the double, the single version of this, I didn't think it was like, wow, this is a huge accomplishment or anything else. But I did think that there was a possibility by doubling it, we would see a little bit more of the purple in between the little blue diamonds. We would see a little bit more things kind of running down the middle, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. I also thought it would be kind of neat to do a video showing how you can use one single loop when you do a double wide bracelet as opposed to having 2 loops. I've seen it done both ways. I just kind of like having the single loop on these ones, particularly if it's going to work out well, so that way that the tail end ends in 2. Now there are some tail ends where you would end up with like 4 tassels, and that's probably where you would want to have 2 loops instead. So just something to think about when you're like designing up your bracelet, things that you might try. And yeah, I just thought, I've done so much as far as like patterns and how to design a pattern and stuff like that, I've been kind of slacking on some of the other things, like how to do the kumis, how to get the bracelet started, and things that maybe somebody who's a little bit new to this might need. And so if the question arises, I'll have a video to point them to. So I think that's kind of cool. So you can see, like, that's all the purple there in the middle, so it barely uses the purple. The yellow and the light orange are the ones that got absolutely used the most. Like, they were absolutely so much shorter than all of the other strings. So that's, again, if you're new here, cutting your strings long enough to make sure that you can do whatever pattern you're doing makes sense to me, as opposed to the possibility. I've had bracelets long ago, because I used to cut my string in quarters, and I would have bracelets that ran out of the string before I got to the end. It didn't have enough to make a tassel out of it. And yeah, that's seriously, it's so discouraging and stuff. And I have to say, it was Mandy who came up with the idea of how to cut it into thirds, and I do have a video on that for sure. But it was Mandy who came up with the idea of like how to actually pull that off. And since I got used to doing it at that length, almost every bracelet I make is with strings cut in thirds. Is there sometimes a lot left over? Kinda, but I'm not running out. And I kind of feel like a bracelet that doesn't end very well is worse than having, you know, some string left over at the end. So, but that's my take. You're welcome to try to figure it out. There's a lot of people out there doing math, trying to figure out like how long, you know, it's necessary to make it, and like cutting it down to like, you know, tiny whatever. Yeah, that's just not me. That's not how I do it. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, special thanks to my YouTube members for making this possible. We just go through a lot of string mostly. That's the biggest expense I have with this channel is the string. I am trying to upgrade some of the other stuff around here. I do want to kind of have some improvements to the sound quality, and yeah, we did the lighting. I think I got the lighting pretty good, but I would like to improve sound quality and do some other stuff to help make this a better channel. I can't promise when or how it'll happen, but we are working on it, so you know. If you want the pattern for this bracelet, it's over on my website. If this is the first day the video went up, it might take a minute or two to get the link to it. We try to do that like regularly, but yeah, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult and all that, so yeah. What else can I tell you? Oh, this wasn't okay. So normally, like, I do a lot of the bracelet making during like member live streams. This one was kind of done in between a week where there was just so much colossal amount of work going on outside of actual my work here, and so a lot of this was just done alone. So there is no, if you become a member and you're trying to see this one in real time, it didn't happen. So I do, like I said, I do try to do those onto the live streams, because people have said they want to see the bracelet made in real time. So that's a possibility. It's just a members thing as far as that goes. So yeah. But just not this one. This one was broken into a lot of smaller pieces. It was a lot. There was 4 hours. I typically record like 30-minute intervals so that it's easier to put in the editor and get the bracelet videos made. But 4 hours, man, holy smokes. And it took a lot to get me psyched up to actually even doing it, because of the fact that I knew this was going to be a bigger bracelet. I knew it was going to take more time. Although I am thinking about doing some more double wides here soon, except for I think I'm going to go with like 24 strings as opposed to 36. They go a little bit faster, and it's a pretty cool size to being able to do various designs and stuff. So I think that might be what's going to be coming up here soon. We'll see. I haven't worked out what the next video is going to be yet, so I'm hoping that get a little inspired here, kind of watching this thing getting made, and maybe come up with an idea, something that would be interesting. If you have thoughts or ideas of like videos you would like to see or patterns that you're curious about, drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If it needs to have a photo to show me, then I would probably send it via Discord. There's a whole area over there for requesting videos and stuff. So, you know, that could be something we do. Yeah, even the dark orange didn't get used as much in this one. Like, gets used a lot compared to, say, green or the blue, but it was the light orange and the yellow that just absolutely just got so much. And you see that like those green diamonds down the center have a little bit of blue in there, which it's a really nice little pop of color against what is mostly oranges and yellows. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, even just showing only half of the video, I'm still running out of things to say, and we still have like a few minutes left. So, yeah, crazy, right? But yeah, this is, for me, this is an unusual number of strings. Even back in the 80s when I was making bracelets, like sets of 12 and 24 was probably more common. I did a bunch of 16 string bracelets for a long time there. That was like a regular thing. And I did do one of the 16 strings where I did it 6 times the width, and one that I did 7 times the width. So those were the big cuffs that I made. The 7 one was for myself, and the 6 one ended up going to a friend of mine. True story. I owed him money. I was like, here, I made you something because I feel bad that I owe you money, and I'll try to get it when I can. And he's like, dude, this paid, consider paid in full. So yeah, that felt pretty cool. That was a long time ago, man. Back in the late 80s there. Yep, so now we get the little blue diamonds. They are what are at the very end of this bracelet, so we are getting really close. Yeah, hopefully the way I do the segmenting on this, hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys, and how I do the sweeping motion, like do everything I can going to the left as far as I can and just bringing it across the bracelet. It really does kind of make this kind of move along pretty quickly and pretty efficiently. So now all of the ones going to the left are done. Now we start making all the knots that go to the right, and it just really creates this little sweeping motion back and forth, getting as much done as possible, which is pretty cool. It's kind of why I like doing these bracelets. I don't have to like look at a pattern, and it just kind of flows really, really natural. So I like that part a lot. But yeah, I suspect we're going to be getting out of the comfort zone here for the next few bracelets I make. I feel like we've done a lot of stuff that I already kind of knew how to do. And so maybe it's time to like kind of find some patterns that are different, maybe a little harder, a little more challenging perhaps. Yep, now it's going into the chevrons. That blue comes all the way across. Other blue comes down. That ends the whole right-hand side. It really is a fun bracelet. It really is kind of pretty. Hoping that it'll find an owner that will cherish it. I think it's a pretty good one. And with the loop being as thick and as strong as it is, it should last a really long time. So here it's kind of wrapping up. It'll be the big reveal coming up here shortly. Let me know what you think about the bracelet. If you want to give it a try, is this something that you'd be into, or maybe something else you've seen? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.